Marjorie Harvey. Her body count, real quick. We're gonna go down the line. Started with Trey Songz. Then it went to Justin Combs. Then it went to his father, Sean Diddy Combs. Haven't heard of that one before. Someone messing with someone's son and the father at the same time. Well, then it went to Lewis Hamilton, the race car driver. Then it went to Future, and now she's with Michael B. Jordan.
You scared Boo.
Just remember that you're the prize always.
Say that one more time.
Just remember that you are the prize.
Yes.
That's like his golden slogan for me.
Yeah.
Can men marry women with high body count? Can a man marry a woman with high body count and treat her like a queen? I was watching this video today where Pearly Things had podcast and then Sadia Khan was there with two other men. So Pearly Things, she was talking about how in the Western world it is possible because most of the men in the Western world don't really care about the woman's body count. But for instance, Sadia Khan gave an example about herself, like she comes from Pakistan, and in Pakistan they are highly religious and cultural. So a woman, even with just one body count, might be rejected by a man or by the man's family, because most of the time the marriages are arranged between families. So they don't date, they just arrange marriages and they tell you that, oh, we found you a husband and you need to go meet your husband. So, and before the family does the arrangement, they need to do their own investigation. So when they find out that you have had if you've had even one body count, you will be rejected. And for most families, this is like a disgrace to the family honor. So because they can't stand the rejection from another family, and in the society, in the community, it becomes a big problem because it will be some sort of shame on the family because their daughter was rejected. But Pearly Things was saying that in her opinion, most of the men who get married to the ladies with high body count the marriages end up crashing, because a woman with a high body count will always want to go out to look for another man because she has sampled so many guys and she has seen almost everything that there is. So if she gets a man who doesn't represent what she wants or who doesn't carry what she wants, there is a high tendency, a high probability that she is going to go out to look for some man who carries what she desires and wants, and that will definitely lead to a crash in the marriage. So that's why she was saying that it's common to see in the Western world so many marriages are crashing. They crash real quick. But the two guys who were on the show, they were African guys, and these guys said, of course, it's the same. What Sadia Khan said is almost the same in Africa, because most of the men also want a fresh woman. They want a woman who hasn't been touched by so many men. And culturally and religiously is almost the same thing in Africa. And as an African woman, I can confirm to you that it is somewhat the same. Because in Africa, marriages are between families, and most of the families also want that respect and honor to know that they are marrying a woman who hasn't had a promiscuous history, who is not a whore, and who is a woman who doesn't earn respect when she is standing in public or when she's doing community work, when she's in the community. So this is also very important as well. But the main conclusion of the podcast of the show was that we are living in modern times when so many things don't have value, like being chaste and being a virgin isn't really celebrated. But I will always talk about this because I have seen that Pearly Things is always going towards, let's go back to history. Let's go back in the days. Seriously, there is no way, we are never going to go back in the days. So the young men, and every man who wants to get married now needs to know that this is the situation. This is how the world is nowadays. It is so difficult to find a girl with less than 5 body counts. I would say 5. because I see plenty things saying that 58, they are giving 20, so many like numbers, but I will say 5, mostly for African girls, because most African girls are raised to fear sex. As an African girl, I can tell you that from an African perspective, we are mostly raised to fear sex. Most girls, like, we don't live in the same countries, but most of the girls I've met from different countries in the diaspora, they tell me the same story. We were raised when we clocked puberty, when we started menstruating, our mothers will not teach us about sex. They would instead teach us about how to run away from men, not letting a man come close to us. And there is this common story, which is really common cut across Africa. They will tell you that if a man touches you, when they see that you're menstruating, they tell you, okay, now you see, now that you're menstruating, now that you've got this blood, if a man touches you, you'll become pregnant. So in my case, I will just give myself like an example. When I was menstruating for the first time, I was so scared. You know, I was in school, and then it came in school and I wasn't prepared. So I had to take permission from my teachers to go back home, to rush back home to see my mom so she can take care of me and then pad me up. So when I got home, my mom told me that, okay, now that you've seen your flower, if a man touches you, you're going to be pregnant. I was so scared. Like, pregnant? Am I going to have a baby? Am I going to get a baby? Because I remember I was so scared. I was so afraid, you know. And every time I had my menses, I was so traumatized, you know. I never wanted to see any guy or any, like, oh my God, I was so scared. And at that time, when you're still developing, most of the guys are coming because you are like, most of any guy who came close to me to say hi or talk to me, even my friends, even my classmates, I was so afraid of them because my mom had told me that if a man touches me, I'll be pregnant, you know. It was until when I was like 16 or 17, and there was this like NGO that came to our school, and they were talking about HIV and AIDS, and they were talking about sex, and that is where I got the information that, okay, you are never going to get pregnant just from a man touching you. You know, think about it. I've been living with that for like about 3 to 4 years, that if a man touches me, I'm going to get pregnant. So you see, in Africa, I will tell you that most of the girls grow up being afraid of sex. The body count is really low compared to the women in the Western world. But then, let's hope for a better future. We can't stop but just educate our young girls, educate the men, educate the Gen Zs, because they're so crazy. This is a crazy generation. First, they don't want to have kids. They don't want to get married. The girls want to sample the guys. The guys want to sample the girls. So what are we going to get in the end? What? So maybe soon we will not be talking about marriage, because marriage will soon be a thing of the past. Until then, let's focus on raising our kids right, because only from raising our kids that we are going to have a better future. Thank you all for watching, and if you disagree or agree with what I said, drop your thoughts in the comment sections. Feel free to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, see you all. Bye.